Or and simple again. Part 3. Enjoy. Peace.
Okay, so you're in your relationship with your ex, you've done the drinking, and then it's gotten heavy, you've gone through the miscarriage, and then you said you got into it over the monitor, and the monitor gets thrown.
No, I didn't throw the monitor.
You punched the wall.
Yeah, I mean, technically, yes, but I like smacked my hand against it, and it was hard enough that it put a hole in the wall, like a pretty decent sized fucking hole, too.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then, on top of that, there was like, and like, this is the part I hate admitting because, like, I came from abuse. So, like, the fact that I was verbally and mentally abusive towards this like amazing fucking woman that did everything for like me, my kids, I was verbally and mentally abusive towards her. And like I didn't obviously at the time realize that. Right. But I for a while there treated her pretty fucking bad. And I mean, that part hurts, obviously, just because of my background and everything I came from.
Right. You became what you did not want to be.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, it sucked. It was not fun.
So now you get to a place where you're ready to get help. And what was your first initial step to getting help? Because there's always steps, right?
Yeah.
Rush and jump into stuff like that. What was your first step into getting help?
So pretty much what it was is, I had talked to one of my other buddies, and they had a friend who worked at therapy place. And I pretty much was like, hey, how do I pretty much go about starting this process? And then they sent me a link, and I mean, that sat in my phone for probably a couple months after that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, this is probably August when like that, I asked for that information. Fast forward, pretty much September, a month or two, something like that. It would have been September, because that's when so like whatever, September, 3 months, whatever. Pretty much what happened was that like I was sitting there, like I had the kids, and my ex had gone to a friend's house, and like I was pissed off about a situation that like I wasn't able to go, and then because there wasn't kids there, but then there was, so it pissed me off. So pretty much what happened is like got shit faced. Like I drank vodka. I fucking hate vodka. But I drank it. And then she came home. I started a huge argument with her about something stupid. Like some, she doesn't have control of, obviously.
Right.
And so what happened is like at the old house, like you walked out to the porch and then steps down, and she was standing at the very bottom, and I fucking hawked a loogie and not even seeing her there. And like it hit her right in the back of the head. And oh shit, my knee. Like I didn't see her, like that's how drunk I was. So So pretty much we got another argument about that, ended up going to bed. The next morning I woke up, grabbed like everything that had alcohol in it, and I went straight to the trash and threw it all away. And then later that day I went through and like actually filled out the therapy shit. And so that was kind of like the first step. Was to quit drinking, for me at least.
So what was your first therapy session like? Okay, so like you get to the place where you're gonna go, and like how do you feel before you even get ready and walk through that door? Like what did you feel like?
Nervous. You're
Nervous.
nervous as hell because
Yeah.
you don't know this person, but you fill out this questionnaire so they know like bits and pieces about you, but they
Right.
don't know you. So it's like, am I really gonna like this person? Or are they gonna, say, hey, this motherfucker has too much trauma. I can't do this.
Right.
Whatever it may
Right.
be. But yeah,
And
definitely nervous.
was your therapist male or female?
Female.
It was a female. Okay.
Well, yeah, because they ask you, whether you prefer male or female, and at the time I was like female. Like I can't talk to a male because all that stigma. You don't tell other men your issues.
Right. Right. Right.
Um. So yeah, nervous as hell the first time.
So
That's
okay, so you get through. You're nervous. You have all these feelings and emotions when you go in, and then you have this therapy session.
Mhm.
And because I don't want to go into what like you talk to them about because that's private. That's between you and your therapist. But you go through and you talk to your therapist and stuff like that. And then how do you feel when you walk out on your first one?
I mean, so the first like three
Mm-hmm.
for me at least was really just it was weird. Like not a bad weird, but like pretty much you're
Not what
getting
you expected.
well, you're getting to know each other at that point in time. So it's not until like after the third or fourth one where like you kind of start getting into everything. Like the first three really are, getting to know this person. This person gets to know a little bit about you, and then
So
the
So a lot of the nervous feelings that you had when you first went to the first one,
Mhm.
you didn't have that when you went when it's time for your second session, right?
No, I was still nervous.
Oh, you
Not
still were.
not not as bad because like at that point in time you're not getting into anything you're coming there for.
Right, right, right.
It's like so like pretty much for me the first three was more of um getting to know you. She goes over like a questionnaire, kind of like what you did online.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just kind of going over things again, and then you kind of tell them, hey, they'll ask you like, hey, what exactly do you want from therapy?
Right.
And I mean, and if you don't have an answer at that time, it's not a big deal. They're not worried about that. They don't expect everybody to have an answer like the first, second, third, fourth session.
So they made it comfortable as possible for you. It wasn't very pushy and more prying or anything like that. It was relatively easy, right?
Oh yeah. Like so with mine, she was more like she would listen like
Mm-hmm.
to whatever it was at the time, and then she'd have her input, and then she with her she'd like be like, so what are you afraid of? Like what are you afraid of with this situation? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And then she'd sit there and she'd make you think a little bit about it, and then give you as much time as you really needed to come up with an answer.
Gotcha.
like,
Gotcha.
like there were times I waited, she'd ask me something and I'd be like, I don't have an answer, and then I'd sit there over the weekend and I'd think about it and then come back and be like, hey, you asked me this is my answer.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on what you're coming in there for, is how they're gonna react to everything and how it goes through from what I understand from it.
So did you okay, so you talked about like after, Connor had passed and stuff, you had that time where you were in a really dark space and you felt like that you might do something to yourself.
Mhm.
Did you discuss that time with your therapist?
um yeah, actually I did. I told her, and she's pretty much was like, obviously I'm glad you didn't do it. She's like, but I can see at that point in time why it would cross your mind. Like
Right.
I'm like, pretty much between the alcohol and everybody, not everybody, but like his mom leaving, taking the child with the other child we had. Like she's like, I get it. She's like, I get why you would think like that at that time.
So, because I think that's something that a lot of people get scared of because they're like, okay, I'm having these feelings and I'm in a dark place. And if I tell them, they're going to lock me up somewhere, you know what I mean? Put me in a padded room and things like that. That's the kind of fear. That's one of the fears that they have, you know what I mean? So if you have someone who feels like they want to go to therapy but they're scared of that type of scenario, what would you tell them to ease their mind so that they could get the help that they would need?
So pretty much, so I mean, even in my situation, and I've told my therapist a few times this. It's like if I died, I wouldn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, I'm not gonna actively go out and like, potentially take a bunch of pills or cut myself or any of that stuff. It's like you can tell them that you don't want to live as long as you don't have a plan. If you have a plan, that's when it becomes an issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, and like she said, she's like, everybody feels like that. Everybody feels like they don't want to live. Like it's just, she's like, it's pretty much unfortunately human nature.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing too that a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of these feelings that you have are normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all deal with stuff, and we all get into these dark spaces and places. And I think the thing that separates the ones who make it and the ones who don't is if they go get the help that what I mean they need. Because I mean,
Yeah.
I would think that you would credit a lot of you being on the other side of things. And that's not to say that you're not done. You know what I mean? But
Oh, far from it.
yeah, but you're far from where you used to be. You know what I mean? And
Oh yeah.
I think that you would credit that a lot to just getting the help that you need from professional help.
Oh yeah. I mean, and like it's one of those things where it's like trust me, I get it. It's scary as shit to be like, I gotta go open my feelings up to this random person I fucking never met.
Mm-hmm.
And you sit there and you think like, oh, they're gonna think I'm fucking crazy, like
Right.
psychotic. They're gonna put me on a hold because of how I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's no, from what I've learned in these, I think it's 8 months now that I've been doing therapies since October, something like that. Is like they are chill. They pretty much react to how you need them to at the time. Like if it's just a listening ear because shit's going wrong, they'll sit there, they'll listen, they'll throw their input in, and then they'll just let you vent and do your thing.
Right.
Like with me and my son, it was a lot of like in the beginning when we first started doing that, it was a lot of, her telling me, like pretty much like looking me in the eyes and saying, hey, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
And like I remember her saying that, and my therapist, I remember her saying that, and like I lost it and started crying, and I was like, then why the fuck does it feel like it is still?
Right.
And she's like, that's pretty much survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
She just kept saying it's not your fault.
Right.
So it's like one of those things where it's like I said, they react to how you need them to.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things that a therapist can say that the average person is not going to say to you because they don't know. But these are professional people who know what they're doing, so they're going to say the things that need to be said.
Yeah.
And I think that's great though. But I like me just watching from the outside in because we're in real life friends.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. Like me and my wife were just talking about you the other night, and she was like, how's he doing? I'm like, yo, I was like, Brandon. I'm like, he's doing good, man. He looks great. I'm like, I can't believe that you've been this long. How long has it been without you drinking?
It'll be 9 months this month.
Let's go.
On the 23rd. Yep.
That's huge.
So I know I have a tattoo planned for when it hits a year. I'm gonna schedule it a couple months in advance. So yeah, 9 months without a drink, and like it's actually gotten to the point where like I smell alcohol and it's fucking. I'm just like, nope.
Yeah, no. Yeah, good.
And like the thing about it too, with like everything going on behind the scenes, like losing the house, losing the ex, like losing my dogs, like if I would have been drinking, and like I can look back and say this now, if I would have been drinking, I would have done something stupid. I probably would have, attempted to hurt myself somehow.
Right. because it didn't. Leaning on alcohol does not help. Right?
It
A lot of people try to think that it does, and it doesn't.
it numbs the pain until it comes back with like full force.
Right. Right.
It like
it makes it worse.
yeah, like it keeps it down and away for a while, and that's kind of like what I used it as a crutch to not deal with everything going on,
Right.
you know. But then, like I said earlier, it reared its ugly fucking head, and people suffered from it. My relationship suffered from it, you know.
Right.
Had to sell the house, all this other crap.
Right. Right.
So it's not worth it, honestly.
Well, I'm proud of you, and I'm happy that you're on so much more of an upscale. You know what I mean? You got your therapist that you're going to. You're not drinking. You're starting a new new chapter in your life and a journey with your education, and it's definitely a beautiful thing to see that you can go through this and be on such a better side of things. And I'm glad that you didn't do anything to yourself because you know you know I appreciate our friendship.
Yeah.
I know we don't talk as much as we used to because obviously you've been doing what you have to do, and I understand that.
Working a shit ton.
Yeah, I know. So, but I'm proud of you. I really am because a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't get. A lot of people get to those points where they feel like they don't know what to do or anything like that. And then even when you tell them what to do or they even get wind of what to do, they still won't do it. You know what I mean? And the fact that, you figured out what you needed to do and you followed through with it, that's huge. That's huge.
Oh yeah. Like going to school. I mean, yes, that's for me, but at the same time, it's like one of those things where it's like, I want to better my life so my kids can have a better life though too. Like, right. The job I'm looking into in IT, ridiculous. Like the base starting pay. I mean, it's going to take me a couple years before I can get to that, but I can literally set my kids up
right.
and myself right. and not have to, not ever have to worry about money, but like less worry about it because I mean, starting pay in California alone, anywhere from like $50 to $60 an hour.
Right. And then not only that too, I mean, you being able to go to therapy and go through and stuff like that, that's something that you can
yeah.
They go through things or anything like that, you can at least point them in the right direction as opposed to shoving a bottle in your kid's hand and being like, hey, this is how I dealt with it, this is how you deal with it,
Yeah. And like, I mean, that's how my dad dealt with it. Like my real parents dealt with it a different way, obviously, drugs. Right. But like my dad would he'd pick us up from school. He'd stop at the gas station, get a cup of ice and a Budweiser, and he'd pour it, and then we'd drive home.
Just driving in a car with the Budweiser.
That was a different time, though.
Yeah, that's a different time, right? But yeah, man, I think it's dope though, and thank you too for opening it up and talking about it thing because it helps people that that anybody listening to this or watching this or anything like that who is on the fence about this can only help. You know what I mean? It could be that one person who's probably had that number in their phone like you did for a couple months, who's now probably after hearing this or listening to it, they're probably going to be like, you know what? I can do this. I can follow through with it because it helps. It really does. It really does.
Well, and then like I've had a couple people from work, because obviously, like, I mean, you see my Facebook, I post like all these accomplishments every month, like when it comes to the time of being sober. I've had a couple people actually approach me and be like, hey, I want to quit drinking, I just don't know how, or I want therapy, I don't know how. And it's like, hey, I mean, I always recommend the place I go to, not necessarily that they have to go there, but
yeah,
they're like, and they always ask like the same questions, like, is it scary? I'm like, yeah, it's nervous. You're opening up to a random fucking person that you have never really ever met. So yeah, it's nerve-wracking. Like when you sit there and you think, oh, this person's gonna think I'm psychotic, and put them on a hold, but that's not really how it is at all, and it's nice.
Right. what would you say was the hardest part about stop drinking?
Mm, I would say like the first couple weeks.
First
Like,
couple weeks is hard.
oh yeah, like I felt like shit, absolute garbage, just
Yeah.
because, and that was still during the COVID times, so
Yeah.
work was a shit show every day.
The stress and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, after those first couple weeks, man, obviously there were still times where I was like, I want to fucking drink, but it's like, no, I can't do that. Everybody's saying, hey, I'm proud of you for not doing this. It's like that helps too.
Yeah.
And like I get there's a lot of people who don't have that support like I did. Like, I mean, between you, people at work, and then my ex, when we were talking at the time, it's like everybody pretty much saying how proud of me they were, kept me on that don't drink.
Right. Have you been out to like any social events or anything like that where people are drinking and stuff like that yet?
Oh yeah, I went to Vegas.
Oh yeah. That's right. That's right. How was that with not drinking and stuff like that? Because I mean, that's the first thing anybody thinks about going to Vegas. Um, they think about drinking and gambling and stuff like that. It's like if you can't drink and you can't gamble in Vegas, it's like what are you there for? But that's what people think. But I feel like it shouldn't be that way, and there's still a way for you to have fun and enjoy yourself.
Oh, I mean, I just looked at everybody walking around sloppy ass drunk and was like, yeah, no, don't want to do that.
Yeah. Things look a lot different when you're the sober one, right?
Oh yeah, I love people watching, and that's what I did pretty much the whole time. It's like I like that I got to remember Vegas. Obviously, that was my first time going, so I like that I got to remember it. And like, I mean, I didn't exactly do what I wanted to the whole time, but like walking through, the Caesar's Palace, that HyperX fucking stadium where they do all the big tournaments. Like, I get to remember that, and like that shit was cool.
Yeah, instead of being blacked out drunk and shit and you don't remember everything, right?
Which like I probably would have been, like, if I was drinking, and I wouldn't have remembered shit.
Right.
So, but no, I definitely, anybody even considering therapy, they do it. It's helped so much. It's like, what, in the last 8 months, it's like there was a while there where like, yes, I was super fucking depressed. Like, even still going to therapy, like I went from 230 pounds down to like 180 because I wasn't eating. Like I was depressed. So you're gonna still be depressed, yes, but it was nice. It gave me something to look forward to every week. Like every week, that's what I look forward to, was going.
It works,
Yeah. And like it took me, driving, doing therapy, and then going a little batshit crazy, yes, and driving across the country and getting, smacked by a big rig, which I hope that doesn't happen to anybody, but and then to like finally be like, I can't do this to myself. Like I'm sad, I'm depressed, but like I need to get off my ass and like actually do something for myself instead of skate by like I have been the last 31 years, pretty much just skating by,
ignoring the trauma instead of
it. So I mean, I definitely recommend it to anybody considering it, for sure. It's gonna help. It's gonna take a while. Like it took a couple months before like I started feeling like it was helping. And then, like I said, in February, I kind of went a little crazy and did all the shit I did, but it helped. It just takes time, like anything else in this world.
Right. It's not an instant fix, but it's a process, and it's a process. But it's like it's the difference between trying to like just slap a band-aid on something, but actually going in there and cleaning it out and doing the stuff that you really need to do so that when you do feel better it lasts. Is actually you truly do heal instead of just trying to just skate by it.
Yeah, I mean, and like even with this, I mean, like my son's birthday was 4 days ago. Like I was sad, Like I went to bed a little after midnight, like the day of his birthday. I cried. I pretty much cried my ass to sleep because obviously I miss him. He should be here. He should be 8. We should be, celebrating him, you know.
Right.
And like it sucks because there's gonna be those days if you have something like that where like no matter what you do, you're gonna be sad.
Right. Right. Right.
But without therapy, it's like I don't know, I probably would have went drinking and like just numbed it again,
Yeah, making it worse.
Yeah. And like, that's the cool thing too, is if you do decide to get sober, your therapist, like, they are there to root you on too. So they'll tell you, like, oh, what happened this week? Well, 8 months sober, and they're like, hell yeah, that's awesome.
Right. Right.
And so it's like without that therapy, people supporting you, it's gonna be a little harder, yes, but you can do it.
Right.
It's like it's one of those things that just pretty much what I did at the time, even before like I knew somebody that worked at the therapy place I went to. It's like just type in Google therapist in my area. Like even that's a start.
Right.
It doesn't seem like a lot, but like to sit there and say, even just Google that's a step in the right direction.
Right. Right.
Right. So I mean, do it. It's gonna help you out. It'll be sad for a while, but in the end, like, it'll help you out tremendously.
Right. I do. I believe it. I believe it too as well. And I think that I think your story, and I think that the process that you went through and that you're still going through, I think it'll help a lot of people. I think it's a good thing that when people have someone that they can talk to that actually been through it, because some people who have not been through it can tell you, but it's nothing like experience it.
Oh yeah, and like that's one of the things too, is like my ex obviously went through it after she had her shit happen.
Yeah.
And like even hearing it from her, I was still stubborn. Yes, I'm a guy. We are stubborn. Like that's just how we are, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit more for us.
and like even hearing it from her, as she is like doing it, and like she's also a psych nurse, so she has the psych background too, to go with it. So she kind of knows what she's talking about, obviously.
Right.
And to hear her say, hey, yes, you're a guy, but you don't have to be strong 24/7.
Right. Yeah, because there's so much society puts on our shoulders as guys, like that.
Bring the money home.
It doesn't help our process. It doesn't help our process with healing through trauma, because everything that we're supposed to be like, or we're supposed to do, it just combats us healing. Like none of that shit is gonna help us in the long run. All it is to sweep things under the rug and just keeps us pushing forward, and we're just really internally just fucked up inside. You know what I mean? So, and like
like shit like this happens, and like we're that old person that's like miserable because
because we've never dealt with it.
Yeah, and like we're and like it came to a point though too, like I was kind of turning in an asshole to my kids too. Like I was always grumpy, like I was always drinking, and that's we'd, and like, so to backtrack a little bit, like what also helped too was like we'd go pick up the kids and we'd stop at a gas station, and my at the time 8-year-old was like, oh, you getting more beer? And I was like, ah, shit, I can't see them, I don't want them to see me just, hey, we're stopping at the gas station, dad's getting more beer, he's gonna get shit faced.
Right, just associating you with beer.
Yeah.
But now, like, that must feel amazing to like pick them up and go to a store and walk out the store, and it's like, no, dad's not getting a beer. You know what I mean? Dad does not drink anymore.
Yeah. And
that
like,
gotta be amazing.
it took a while for like them to realize and understand that like we're not going to the store to get me beer. Like we're going to the store because I need to get something, or for dinner, whatever it may be. And we'll walk out, spending $30 less, whatever the hell it may be. But I mean, it saves you a shit ton of money too. That's
right.
I mean, I was able to buy a car with how much money I had saved.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And then some jackass big rig.
Well, hey, now you have more money for toys and stuff too.
Yeah, and I bought my other car with like the insurance settlement and whatnot. But yeah. Drinking therapy, like I got lucky though, because like my therapy isn't very much. It's like $10 a session, but at the end of the day, it's worth like whatever the money is, unless it's some ridiculous amount.
Right. And I'm sure that I'm sure that there's some way to afford affordable.
Oh yeah.
Therapy, but it's just one of those things that needs to 100% be it needs to be done.
Oh yeah. Do it. Just from experience, just personally, just go for it.
So outside of therapy, was there anyone that you would like outside of therapy? Is there anyone that you would like to thank for sticking by your side and being a listening ear to you and just helping you get through it?
I mean, yeah. So like Russell and Carmen, and then I mean, me and my ex aren't talking right now, but like her for a while there, like she helped me out a lot as much as she could. My kids' moms, like, and as much as we don't get along, we don't see eye to eye, like they I wouldn't say understood, but they got it, and they kind of for a while there backed off with me seeing the kids, and like because I was in a whirlwind of everything.
You needed that space.
Yeah.
That space. Yeah.
And like I told them, it's like I can't take care of myself. How do you expect me to take care of them?
Right.
And
that's not always the easiest thing to say, but sometimes it needs to be said so that you can come back and be the type of father and the type of parent that you would like to be.
Oh yeah. And I mean, it took a while before I got to that point where I was like, okay, I can semi take care of myself. So have the kids come over for a night, or I'll go pick them up from school and like take them to McDonald's, something stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, at the time, like I told them, I can't take care of myself, so I don't know how you expect me to like watch and protect these little kids that like I can't do anything for myself.
Right. But now it's a totally different story, and I'm glad that you did what you did though, because it helped and it changed a lot. Don't ever think that us watching and stuff like that and looking around you and stuff like that, we don't notice your leaps and bounds and stuff like that. There's a lot of us that are very, very proud of you.
Oh yeah, I know. And like I think that's, for me, that's like the best part about it is like, because so I had like one of my friends, she messaged me, like I think I was like 5 months sober or something, and like I used to go out to the bars with her. We'd fucking party till 2-3 in the morning and then go to work, 6 a.m, whatever it was. And she messaged me and she's like, hey, I've been reading your posts like every month. She's like I'm proud of you, first off, and she's like, but I want to quit drinking, I don't know how to. And I pretty much was like, you just got to do it. Like, well, I was like, for me, I had to just do it. Like I couldn't like wean myself off. Like it's one of those things for me. I know me personally, it's like I got a cold turkey everything. Like when I was smoking cigarettes, I had the cold turkey.
Right.
I can't wean myself off because I just can't. It's just how it is. Addiction runs in my family, unfortunately.
Right. I feel you.
But yeah, do therapy.
Yeah, do therapy. We need to put that on some shirts. Yeah, do
Hell
therapy.
yeah, do it.
Man. Well, hey B, thank you so much for opening up and thank you for talking to me. This stuff is important to me. I wanna, I always said that if I ever had a platform, if I ever, got into streaming and stuff like that, yes, I want to play video games and I want to, have the chat move and I want to have, the followage and all that stuff and the subs. That'd be nice. But I also wanted to set something aside to use my platform for to kind of help people. And this is the route that I've taken. And, I'm appreciative to have, people like you. I did interviews with Kinston and Delph too. And I'm happy to have people, that actually care about the things that I care about and want to do it. And, because we us working in the hospital field, it, a lot of times mental health doesn't get taken care of correctly, right?
Oh
We
no.
see things a lot. We see things a lot differently now that we're older and we're not young knuckleheads in the hospital. It's like sometimes the people that are in those rooms are just people who just had a bad day, and we don't realize. A lot of people don't realize that you're one incident away from being that person in
Oh
there.
yeah.
And sometimes all we need is a listening ear or just an outlet or therapy, to turn things around and not become one of those people. So it definitely helps. It definitely helps to have you guys stepping out and being vulnerable and talking and stuff like that because it helps the cause. It really does.
Well, yeah, and like with on top of that, with that being said, it's like I found myself. So all the mental health holds. I used to be like, you fucking man up, like don't no. I have a lot of issues too, but I'm not using it as a scapegoat. But obviously, I was using alcohol as a scapegoat. But like, I have more sympathy towards them now.
Right.
I mean, with the exception of a few, and you know what I'm talking about. But like I have more sympathy towards them because it's like I could easily have been been there on the other side of the glass, in a gown getting ready to go wherever.
Right.
So yeah, pretty much I have a little more sympathy for them.
I feel you. Well, man, thank you so much, B. I appreciate you.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely, I'm excited to see where you go from here with your career and everything like that. We definitely gonna have to do another check-in and see where we are in like maybe like another 10 months or something like that. We're gonna have to do another check-in.
Oh, I'm hoping in 10 months I'm out of California.
Hey, that'll be all right. We'll still be able to do this.
Oh yeah. Oh no, definitely. Oh, my plans like Nebraska. Like I fell in love with it when I went there.
Nice.
Just where at, I'm not 100% sure at the moment, but somewhere over there for sure.
Yeah, we'll definitely cross that bridge when you get there, and I'll have a place to go out there in Nebraska too.
Hell yeah, dude, it's beautiful out there. Like, I mean, the summer it was a little humid, which I wasn't like a terrible, I wasn't a fan of, but it's just it was green. There's corn as far as the eye can see. But it's beautiful out there.
That's dope.
Highly recommend it. Going and at least visiting, and everybody's so goddamn nice.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Well, it's like they were just like, here you wave at somebody, they're like, pretty much, what the fuck do you want? There,
California can be kind of rude, right?
Yeah, they're like, you're driving down the road and somebody's walking their dog and they're just like, hey, how are you? I'm like, hi. And they're like super nice, just super nice. It's weird.
Oh man. All right, B. Well, I'm gonna get myself out of here. Thank you again. I appreciate you. And definitely we're gonna have to get some games in again.
Hell yeah, I'm down. Schedule's gonna be a little screwy here for a couple months, but probably more Mondays after I get out of school and whatnot.
All right, bet. All right, B. Catch you later, bro.
All right, see you, man.
All right, see you.
I need to pee. I had to pee for the last like 5 minutes. Let's see.